Up and running, and Villa is loud.
Hello and welcome to the Villa Park podcast. It's me, Rich, and I'm back with Kev for a slightly safer pre-record of our match reaction to Aston Villa 1, Sheffield United 1. We did it obviously live on location last week, which was a great show, great fun. But we thought we'd leave it till the morning after the night before to discuss this game. First of all, though, I really do want to thank you all. We have smashed through 3,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for all your support on the channel. We were big into celebrations yesterday, hoping that Villa would go top of the league. But before we get into the game, Kev, just a word on our support to get into 3,000 subscribers.
It's been absolutely incredible, really, it really has. Obviously, there's a lot of content out there, for all football fans. Whether it's more of a general, football chat about, whether it could be global football, Premier League, and clearly that every club's got its own Villa podcast, Villa channel. So for us to enter, a fairly competitive landscape, and then to have the support we've had, and it wouldn't have been possible. I mean, it sounds so cheesy, but it would just be me, you, and a few of the other lads sat, waiting for the kids to get to bed to have a bit of a natter about the Villa. So clearly people seem to like a little bit what we're doing, but we're always open to suggestions because we want to keep it going. But thanks to every single person that supported us, that's promoted us, that puts comments in there, that likes, subscribes. We genuinely appreciate it because look, it's been a good time to be a Villa fan the last year or so, but we'll still be here when it's maybe not such a good time being a Villa fan, and I'm sure they'll be with us as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I say, we don't want to stop there as well. Like you're saying, mate, we want to continue to keep developing, keep growing, keep improving. I remember us doing shows with one or two people watching, and now we get upwards of 5,000 views, etc., which is just incredible. So thank you all for your support. To do it before Christmas as well, just absolutely tremendous. Unfortunately, we couldn't go top of the table for Christmas. Our 15 winning run in the Premier League was brought to a halt by Sheffield United last night, and it was a frustrating night, Kev.
Yeah, it was a frustrating night. It really was. But that's life, isn't it? I don't want to be one of those like overly optimistic, positive people. But it is my nature as a human being generally. But look, let's frame this slightly differently. We've taken 46 points from the last 48 at home. Right. If we had said after that Arsenal game when Martinez went on a march up the pitch and Emery lost it a little bit, that you're going to get 46 out of the next 48, and I'm so confident it's going to be 49 out of 51 when we beat Burnley on the 30th. Football happens. I mean, I think there's a lot of things people seem to forget. And what annoys me a bit is these people that are like, well, typical Villa, and well, we couldn't do it when time came up. Yeah, there probably was a reality that we froze a little bit. And first half, maybe we were lacking a few ideas, but we've seen time and time again this season when teams dig in and make it difficult for the teams to play, that it's hard even for the best of teams to do that. We did it a little bit against Arsenal, and we're clearly a decent team. They had more of the ball. Palace, Liverpool changed on that dodgy yellow, second yellow for Jordan Ayew, or both yellows were a bit dodgy. And then they looked like Palace were going to win that game. Man United, Liverpool had 34 shots, but not loads of clear chances, and clearly in that situation there. And there's time and time again examples of teams. Luton have taken some teams right to the wire. Now, someone will argue the way around and go, well, yeah, but they've still got the win. But we've done that. We were 1-0 to Palace, and we basically won it in injury time. We were losing to Spurs. We were losing to Bournemouth and got a draw. Last night, we got a draw. So we're showing a really good kind of like trend as a team now where we don't believe that we're beaten. And I tell you what I liked about last night more than anything else, looking at positives, of course. It felt a little bit like, like the Man United team back in the day where they'd always think, well, we can get another one, we can get another one, we can get another one. And when we got the ball back, I was chatting to one of my mates afterwards was saying, like, if it gone on for 5 more minutes, we would have won that game.
Yeah.
And football's just a funny one, isn't it? But I think we've just got to look at this from a sort of higher, more holistic perspective and go, you know what? Like, it's not the worst thing that's ever happened.
Exactly, mate. And it was going to come to an end at some point. We were saying that on the match preview. You know, we were very bullish, we were very positive, but we were saying that the home winning run would have to come to an end at some point. It was just, you know, a good job we didn't get beat, which is, like you say, it shows that character. Sorry, before we get into the VAR decisions, just to talk on the starting lineup. Obviously, a couple of players were out. Longley comes in, and Matty Cash back to right back. What were your thoughts on the starting lineup? Obviously, Bailey and Diaby, you know, playing as well. It was almost like we were showing that we were going for it almost.
Yeah, my worry was, and I think this was shown last night. I like McGinn a bit further forward. And I would have probably put Den Donker in there, and then given him a bit of license to have Louise and McGinn a bit further forward, because seen a lot of talk around like, you know, Kamara being there makes Louise the player that he is, and of course McGinn having more license to move forward. But I just felt that with the injuries, that might have been, for me, I mean, what do I know? I've not won any Europa Leagues, and, you know. So.
Yeah.
But, you've asked me my opinion, so I'm giving it you anyway. Cash was disappointing last night, but I don't, you know, could you put Carlos in there and put Konza right back? I think he felt maybe Cash's attacking instincts would have been better in a game when you're going to have more of the ball, but I don't think he's been particularly great lately, and I think he kept stopping, particularly first half, coming back inside, and so I think that was it. But other than that, I thought Longley actually did pretty well. I think he defended well. I think he was putting those balls through the middle. Yeah, I think if you look at it as well, like obviously we'll talk about the goal and that kind of stuff, but we still had options on the bench as well. And I did feel like a Moreno, Zaniolo, perhaps a Duran. We had people that could come on the game and potentially change the game, which ultimately was proven to be true.
Yeah, exactly. Now, first half, we like we were chatting before we came on. The first half, there wasn't really too much to write home about. Maybe I think Diaby had an opportunity. Was slipped in by Leon Bailey. Not nice bit of play. And was it the first half Watkins debatable penalty pushing the back? I mean, I keep watching it and I'm thinking that's a penalty, you know.
Yeah, I think it's a penalty as well, and I think you get the freeze, like the still image of him pulling his shirt, and perhaps that doesn't do full justice to the actual situation because he's already gone. But I mean, if you're pulling his shirt like that, get a freezed image. If VAR see that, then I'm wondering what's going on. He does push him in the back. He does. So what is the threshold for a penalty? This is the problem with football now. Is VAR brought in to help out has made it worse. The referees don't referee anymore. Anthony Taylor last night, he may as well not have been there.
I know. He doesn't make a decision, does he? He doesn't make a decision and wait. He's the worst for it. I mean, there's a couple of refs that, you know, to their credit, do actually make the decision and then kind of use VAR to confirm or kind of correct their decision. But Anthony Taylor, he doesn't make any decisions.
Well, but then look at David Coote against Brentford. I mean, he's got literally, as far away as I am from my laptop now, you can see Ben Mee doing a potentially career-ending tackle on Leon Bailey and doesn't think it's a red card.
Yeah.
I mean, what? I mean, take him back to the classroom, give him some detention. What's he doing? And the problem you've got is we've got a scenario now where the referees know they've got the comfort blanket of VAR, and then you've got a couple of. Do you know what it feels like with the VAR guys? Because they know that, you know, that Howard Webb and Michael Owen are going to be having a chat about it on Sky whatever night they do that review show. You know that the entire football world's going to talk about it. You ever have a situation when you're at work or at school and someone sat over you and you're typing, you're like, oh crikey, oh my god, my fingers don't work anymore, I don't know what to do. That level of panic of someone watching you, they know the whole world's watching them. That's even if it's retrospectively. And it's just so subjective. The amount of VAR decisions last night. Now, you could say you could have 50 VAR decisions for potential penalties and they could all be wrong. Fair enough. But you like to think if there's been that many that have been, is this a penalty or not? Then at least one of them. And I honestly think that, I think 2 or 3 of them were decent shouts. You'd think that you'd get it. It's just, I don't want to be the one of people that is like, I've put a tweet out today calling them robbers and stuff, and asking a question to PGMOL. But I mean, really, you've got to look at what you could have done differently. I'm a big believer in that.
Exactly. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
We'll get on to the general points of Villa's performance and what they did or didn't maybe do. But yeah, you've got to think, a penalty in that situation, gets a goal in the first half, or at least gives you the best opportunity to get a goal in the first half. The game completely changes. We'll come to the big VAR decision, but another potential penalty decision was the handball, and like, again, to kind of just dismiss it as if he just said, "Oh, he leant into it like that with his chest." If you watch it, it hits his arm and goes down. Like, I can't believe it.
It's an absolutely shocking decision when I've seen that back now. I mean, it reminded me of, was it Rodri against Everton?
Yeah.
He moves his arm in the direction of the ball and uses his arm, not his shoulder, to move the ball in the box. It's the clearest red card when you watch it back. What the F flip, shall I say, are VAR doing? Watching that back and thinking that's not a penalty. He moves his arm towards the ball in the box and it knocks it with his arm out of the way. Doesn't just hit him like you say, oh, that's accidental. He moves his arm towards the ball. How's that not a penalty?
I know. Obviously, we thought we'd scored on 59 minutes, and we thought this man, Leon Bailey, again, continuing his rich vein of form, lovely finish, but it gets pulled back for, I guess, what it was. I mean, admittedly, I think it was a foul on the goalkeeper. But the argument is, again, this subjective decision. It's a new phase of play. There have been 6 or 7 passes that have occurred after it. The goalkeeper's managed to get himself back into goal, and there's no one around him. Again, is this? I don't know. Like, would I want the foul on Martinez if it had been up the other end? Probably. But you're looking at how long elapsed after that decision. I don't know, man. It's got to be a goal.
Yeah, the tweet I put out this morning was a question for PGMOR, Lanty Taylor. Bulldog has full control of the ball. It's a screenshot of Bulldog then running out with like no one near him, basically, with a chance to pass it to the right back or whoever is in that position. Bulldog's got full control of the ball. What point does it become a different phase of play? If he was tackled on halfway and then we'd scored, if he'd been tackled in our box and then we'd counted to score, like when is it? For me, like, is it a foul on the keeper? Yeah, he's holding his arm right. I don't think we can debate that. And the question is that when does it change from being, well, actually, we've now carried on playing? Because how far back do you take it?
Yeah.
Clearly, as the attacking team, if they'd have counted to score, they wouldn't have pulled it back because it would have been advantage to them. But when does that advantage cede? When does it go? And I think that there's been probably, 10 plus touches of Sheffield United players since that happened. They're coming out of the box. I just think you've got to look at that and go, on balance, come on. You've got the ball now. You've moved out. If it had been straight from that,
it's his mistake, isn't it? It's his mistake.
Yeah, if it had bounced off Fotheringham because Ramsey's holding him, and then we'd bundled it in, fair enough.
Yeah,
but that's
I agree. It was just, again, like you said, you're going back to re-refereeing a situation that's happened, like you say, 6, 7 passes before. The goalkeeper's back in, all the defenders are set up. Their player Bulldog has made the mistake, so you're basically not rewarding him, but you're excusing that mistake that he's just made. Like, I don't know. It just, yeah.
And also, if it's a free kick, it's a free kick, right? So maybe the ref doesn't see it properly, but is that hold then next from when they get the ball? It's just like a free pass for them to see if they can score on the counter attack, and there's nothing we can really do because, if we get the ball back, it's a waste of time. I mean, when does it change? I mean, are we allowed to score in the next game? Or are we still restricted by that decision now? Like Old Trafford, 55th minute, like Bailey smashes in a volley and they go, remember when Ramsey grabbed Fotheringham? Like, when does it change? I don't know. But again, if you add that, it's like the boy that cried wolf, isn't it? There's a wolf in the village. Is there really? Well, you've got the Bulldog handball. You've got that one there. It's a different phase of play. You've got the pushing Watkins back. And the pull of the shirt, whatever. I mean, some of them maybe you could say, well, you're not going to get all of them. One of them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, and you go 1-0 up, whether it be the 30 odd minute or the 59th minute when Bailey scored, it takes the pressure off. Sheffield United have to come out a little bit, and then we can kind of push on from there. And obviously, it doesn't happen. And we said it, he would score. We said it, 87th minute, a breakaway, and he's dead. The man's deadly in the box. Cameron Archer with a nice finish, and you're thinking, absolute smash and grab. It was written in the stars.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And I think it's interesting as well when you look at our striking option off the bench. How I haven't seen him back, but I hear he was fortunate, maybe potentially not to get a red card.
Yeah.
I think apparently they've been given being a bit petulant, being a bit like in one breath being like energetic and helping Watkins off the ground, the next breath like going into need. I mean, that's a needless foul he's given away, which has led to them scoring, and also nearly has a fight and nearly gets sent off. So I mean, just ridiculous. And I honestly think that he has qualities that Archer doesn't have, but Archer has a lot of qualities that he doesn't have. And when the ball was with the amount of, I know obviously we've talked about this on the pod a lot, and obviously I'm an Archer fan. Sam's a big Archer fan. I think all of us liked Archer, right? But if the ball's going around the box and you're going to get half a chance to score, I think Archer is as good as probably anybody.
Just about to say the same. Those type of games where a team comes, shuts up shop, you're going to get a lot of bounces in the box. You're going to get, a lot of blocks. You need someone who's like quick off the mark in the 6-yard box, and Cameron Archer is exactly that. And that's where we're lacking. That's where Watkins is sometimes a little bit lacking, where we don't really have that other player at the minute. And Archer could have been, if he put him on our team, he could have been the key to us being more comfortable in that game.
Great movement for the goal. The way he kind of steps back and kind of gets it. Obviously, people were saying in the first half, he was getting bossed by Longley and Konza. But I don't. If that was Aguero, if that was Michael Owen in his pomp, you've got a defender on you. They're stronger than you. You might get a first touch and race away, but really, that's going to happen for most players. The point of it from an attacking, offensive position is that when you've got a lot of the ball and you need someone that can get half a yard and get away and get a shot in, I think he'd be a good option. And I think it did highlight potentially a deficiency we've still got in our squad in a game where we're going to struggle to score. And let's be clear, you've got the referee VAR being a bit harsh on you, and maybe it's not going your way. Anyone can concede a goal at any point in the Premier League. Look, we were all, I said it'd be a 3-0 win. There was quotes of, 7-8-0.
7-0, 8-0, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, I was absolutely convinced. If we played that game again and again and again, I think I'd still say I think we'd beat someone like that. 3-0. That kind of score. But you could kind of tell. I mean, fair play to Wilder, by the way, an absolute fantastic masterclass of boring, turgid football. But it worked. I don't think Burnley will play like that against us.
No, no.
I don't think a lot of teams would if they come to Villa Park. Bournemouth, I think, would probably try and be a bit more progressive. Teams like that. So. But it worked, and then the longer it goes on, and then they get their goal, they're in dreamland.
Exactly. And we thought, I don't know if many Villa fans would have thought that we'd manage to get back into it, but Nicolo Zaniolo, scores a goal in the Conference League, comes on, makes a difference against Brentford, and again makes a difference last night. And fair play to him. He seems to have got a bit of confidence now, and nice ball in from Luiz and gets up before the goalkeeper, and a great finish. And 97th minute, this just highlights that character that you're talking about from the team.
Well, yeah, I don't want to dig you out too much here, Rich, because I know you've been. I'm not having.
I know, mate. I know.
yeah. Let's just be consistent.
I did say I want him to do well. Of
course
you
did.
Well.
And look, we all want everyone to do well, and you could probably give me the same for Bailey, right?
Yeah.
I love to see it. I mean, again, trying to look at positives. And by the way, we've not just lost 7-0 to Sheffield United on the back of being battered by Brentford and Arsenal. I think I worked out the stats. We've taken 17 points from the last 21 games.
Yeah,
right. That includes games against Man City, Spurs, Arsenal. It's not been an easy run of fixtures at all. So a little bit of perspective, but. This season, where we are now, Christmas time, there's been criticism of Tielemans start of the season. He's been up into his injury, actually probably one of the best players in the team, and has really started to contribute. Zaniolo is, player from a foreign league, never played in the Premier League before. There's been plenty of these players at bigger teams that have struggled to adapt. Gets a key goal, the goal that cements our position. Zaniolo was responsible for us not having an extra 2 games now, because he's got the goal that's cementing top spot in the group. and he scored a key goal tonight. Brave header as well. Great run. Real quality in terms of the ball coming in. Great run. Got to be brave in those situations. Plenty of players would shirk. I'm pretty sure I remember in the first half, second half maybe, did Ramsey kind of pull out of a possible header he could have got in the box maybe?
Maybe.
There was one I remember thinking.
I know Konsa headed over in the first half, didn't he?
Yeah, but there was one I think the ball went across the box, and I might be wrong. I felt like it was maybe we'd kind of pulled out of one or something. But you've got to be brave to do that. And it's a clutch moment in the game. And he did. I said this on the Brentford post-match pod. I think he made a difference when he came on. I think he's got a bit of guy. His physicality, actually, he's a big guy. Looking after the ball well. He obviously won the corner that led to the Kamara's filthy flick and Watkins winner.
Mm-hmm.
And he's made a difference tonight. And we've got to take these positives there, that actually these squad players coming back in are actually making a bit of a difference. And whilst other players are dropping off, I've seen some interesting stuff actually on Twitter. Sorry, X as it's called. Sorry, Elon. Saying I saw a really interesting tweet last night where someone said something along the lines of, if we signed Zaniolo perm and Diaby had been the loan option with recent form, would you be saying we got to re-sign Diaby? And it's like, you know what? But across the season, that's when we got to assess
They'll come through. Yeah, absolutely. Look, not quite hold my hands up yet, but it's great to see him performing. And like I say, sometimes it just takes that goal or that moment, and players can go away, can kind of go on. So yeah, we love to see it. Absolutely love to see it. Now, just want to before we finish up, and I want to ask you a couple more things. Are you slightly concerned that we are having to kind of really dig into the depths of our character and resolve to get results? You're looking at a last-minute equaliser last night against Sheffield United, a late goal against Brentford to get us back in, a last-minute goal against Bournemouth to get a draw. On the face of it, it's really good character. But are we... when was the last time we really won a game comfortably? Obviously, Man City was a phenomenal performance, but I'm talking like a 3-0, 3-1, that kind of stuff. Like, are you a little bit concerned that we're having to really, really dig deep to get these results?
Yeah, I mean, there is a little bit of a concern that potentially, like, the engines, the fuel tank's going down a little bit, basically, when we're running on fumes. A little bit of a concern. But then I look at the other aspect of it is, it seems like this is all Arsenal do.
Yeah.
They seem to get a lot of right at the death winners and equalisers and go crazy, and they're celebrating on the pitch, and all the stuff that they've done. They did it against us. They did it last season a few times. They're doing it this season. I think a lot of teams do it. That sense of being a really big team and getting towards the last bit of the game and then thinking like, at what point will this pressure tell? It's unrelenting. They're going to get the equaliser or the goal back. I actually think it's in many ways quite a positive thing. Let's.
We never know when we're beaten, do we? We never know when we're beaten.
Exactly, and I want us to break off the shackles now of old typical Villa, classic Villa. I saw Dan Bardell put a tweet out today about something on this, and I kind of put my comment on there saying like we've got to get rid of that perspective. Under Emery, this is why I always say whenever we do the pre-matches, I mean, not to say this is a waste of time, but when you go through the stats, I'm like, don't care about stats, Rich, because it's Emery now. And since Emery, nothing matters in terms of whatever team we play. But it's only, 13, 14 months ago since we probably would have lost that game. And the sign of a good team is, as you say, never know when you're beaten, is to be able to get points out of these situations where you look like you're not going to get points. That starts to build a sense of belief and resilience that we can do this in no matter what the situation is. So for us to do that at the same time as having a few injuries and then a few suspensions and to still keep it going, considering that with the points haul that we've got, I think is fantastic. Clearly, we've got 2 massive games coming up now because we want to get to January, and if we can get at least 4 out of the next 2 games, I think that would be a decent return. But I don't think we can. I don't think on the back of that result last night, we didn't play a fantastic. VAR was against us, but we got a point. It's a fantastic result when you consider going into injury time. We've now managed to salvage a point out of that situation. We keep the unbeaten record at Villa Park going, so we haven't lost. And I think we go to Man United thinking, you know what? Let's. I think Emery will want to do this as well. Let's show everyone what we're about with a great performance at Old Trafford.
100%, mate. 100%. Now, you mentioned it wasn't the greatest of performances, and I don't want to dig anyone out, but is anyone, I guess, on both fronts, anyone impress you last night in terms of performance, and anyone who you slightly concerned about or maybe needs to step up?
Well, I think as we discussed with the whole like Kamara absence, that affected probably how a lot of people played. I did think sometimes we were a bit slow. I thought McGinn was a bit off. It looked a bit tired. I thought Louise was a bit not as quick as he could have been in terms of progressing the ball, which normally is, you know, maybe a bit languid in terms of, which is his style, which is great when you're winning, right? I was disappointed in Cash. Really, I was. I don't think Deeney was great either. I mean, I just don't think in terms of our attacking outlets, Ramsey doesn't quite seem at it.
He needs a couple. He's one of those players who, like, he came straight in, obviously, in Brighton and scored a goal. That was more in terms of the moment of the game, but he seems to be a player who needs six, 7 games to really get himself going. Just not seeing that explosive speed with the running with the ball at the minute.
Yeah, and it's understandable because,
Yeah.
like, he came back from an injury, which he then obviously redid the injury. So, but if in terms of what you expect in this game, players to make the difference, I don't think Watkins was brilliant. Maybe didn't get the best service. I thought Bailey and Diaby looked at times, but you know, would have liked to see more taken on a man and cutting in. And so I just think across the team there was no real standout. I think probably the best players for me were probably Longley and Konza. I don't think they did much wrong. And I thought Zaniolo did well when he came on. You know, and I actually think if you had to have to give me a man of the match, I'll probably give it to Zaniolo because he comes on and makes a difference. No one else, I think, deserves it.
Yeah. Well, look, like you say, mate, I think there's positive to take out of that game. Keep the unbeaten run going. We stay in touch with the top 2. You know, we are joint level on points with Liverpool now.
Well, which was on this point, mate. We've gone joint top of the Premier League.
I know, and they've got to play each other as well today. So
they've got to go to Everton.
Exactly. So look, it is still amazing times, and to be slightly disappointed that the performance level wasn't quite there, but still happy that we managed to get something out of the game is just a great place to be. We're going to be back for match preview with Man United. Obviously, the pods don't stop. The content doesn't stop. I'm sure I'll be back as well with Gareth for Talking Tactics. So, guys, make sure you are liking and subscribing. Let us know your thoughts in the comments as well on last night's game. I haven't got the 3,000 subscriber graphic up yet, so we've still got the 2,900, but I promise you we're over 3,000. I want to thank you all again for your support. It is absolutely amazing. Kev, thank you very much for jumping on. Thank everyone for watching, and as always, remember, we all follow the Villa. Thank you.